YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. I'm going to make a quick patch notes video and talk a little bit about what's going to change in the patch that brings Bretonnia into the game. There's quite a few changes, and we'll try and highlight some of those here. I just want to start off by saying I apologize for not having my 200,000 subscribers stream. I got a new motherboard from MSI. I got it installed and was going to show it off to you all. I had like a cool video and everything that I was going to make, but I'm having some technical issues. It's actually not the motherboard. It's a combination of things. My computer needed a new install of the OS. It was just old and it was causing issues that were making me blue screen. So I got that fixed, but then my water pump quit working and I don't have another cooler around or anything, so I had to temporarily retire my desktop while I get that fixed. And compounding the trouble with this is that all of next week I'm going to be out, which means that anything I want to record for you from the Bretonnia campaign, I have to do it now. Yes, sometimes I record while I'm on the road for work, but the trip next week is just going to be impossible. So it leaves me in a tight position here where I have very little time to record. The game hasn't actually released. Fortunately, I got a few replays in with Ninja Hun, like in terms of online battles, so I'll be able to show you those. Because he also had early access to the game, and then I'm going to record some campaign and maybe some quest battles and other stuff to kind of tide you all over until I get back in the town. But yeah, so that's what's going on. That's why everything got delayed, so apologize, but it is what it is. There's not much I can do about it except keep going. So basically they talk in the patch notes, obviously, the Isabella and some other things. It says, too, that there's one piece of news here that I'm curious about. It says, we are deploying our multiplayer drop hack exploit fix in 2 stages. This update begins stage 1. We now determine when it happens and analyze the resulting data. Players will receive a message whenever they leave a battle through an unconventional exit. Stage 2 will follow in a future update. So they're going to have some kind of maybe quitting system or like way to make it affect rank or something. I don't know. Hey, it's a start. It's good to see. Another big change, they mentioned, in line with their lore, the Wood Elves are now more isolationist in character with periodic bursts of aggression. Don't know exactly what that means, but I think they're trying to make it to where the Wood Elves don't dominate the whole map in every single campaign you play. They said campaign AI recruitment logic is improved. We shall see. They added loads of quest battle maps into the quick battle map pool. I don't know, that's kind of a cool thing. That'd be interesting to see. It says the assembly kit has been updated with Terry. Basically, so now it's no longer a beta. Terry is here. And then they talk a little bit about the assembly kit beta. I'm not going to cover that right now. And just in general, they make a whole bunch of notes here, and I don't think a lot of these are going to be a huge note to you. Let's go cover some of these. It says rebalanced AI recruitment cost. I have no idea what that means. I wish they would give some more detail into what some of these mean rather than just leaving it really high level like that. Supposedly they improved the hit point / unit consistency in the auto-resolver. Again, we'll see. It says rule change. In campaign, if a faction loses a battle and the only surviving unit is their last general, that general is killed. That's probably a good thing. Let's see. We're going to keep moving on. None of these were a huge big deal to me. So battle improvements. It says improved performance on the Beast Path maps, so I don't know if that's frame rate. I would have to assume it is. Let's see, Battle AI. Again, there's a bunch of notes, and I'm just trying to pick out the... Yeah, here's a good one. It says Necromancer no longer loses his crumbling and disintegrating abilities when the corpse cart Unholy Lodestone is added, so that means we shouldn't see the bugged out Necromancer anymore. That's good. That one actually, I fell prey to that a couple of times. It says Lore of Undeath ability can no longer be used on settlement walls. Which one? I don't know. That's really odd. They say stuff like that and then don't clarify it. Give me just a second. It says they added 2 more defensive siege battle maps for the Wood Elves. So that's good because you all remember in my Wood Elves campaign we were seeing the same map like over and over and over again, and that can get pretty old. Let's see. Anything else big? I don't know if this is big news or not, but it says the Red Duke's El Sif ability will no longer work on tree men. And then it fixed Orion's Cloak of Isha Stage 2 quest battle chain in Realm of the Wood Elves, so I guess something was broken. Yeah, whatever. Usability. Let's just go to the general balancing and talk a little bit about some of the things that they've done, and then we'll get into specific unit changes. So it says Swarm of Flies ability is added to vampire characters when mounted on zombie dragons. I don't know what Swarm of Flies is, so I'll have to go find that. Arachnarok Queen Spiderling summons are now less powerful. I don't know exactly what that means either, and so I may actually spawn into a battle real quick while we're talking about these with the Arachnarok Queen and see if they've changed the number of spawns or anything, or if they've just changed the hit points or something, because my guess is they just did something with the hit points. Let's just start a battle real quick while I keep talking through this. Let's see. Reduce the cost effectiveness is the Raise the Dead summon, so I believe that they raised the mana cost for raising the dead by 1. So it's going to make someone use a little more magic, so, you know, it should balance in Raise the Dead a little bit better. You still get 5 summons, so it didn't affect the number of summons. It must just have affected the hit points of the units summoned. Maybe they lowered the hit points or made them more feeble or something, I don't know. Holy crap! No, they put a huge cooldown on it. Wow. It was only a couple of seconds previously, and then they just ratcheted it all the way up to 40. So, is this a good change? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. The Ragnarok Queen costs so much to bring. I think that 2-second cooldowns were probably a bit stupid, like a little too slow or too fast, but a 40-second cooldown seems a little bit much. Like, Warhammer battles don't last a long time. Like, 40 seconds is kind of an eternity. I think like 15 or 20 would have been far more appropriate, or even 10 as opposed to like the 2 seconds that it was. I think that would have been far more appropriate, but we'll see how that plays out. Maybe it's not a big deal in the end, but like I said, for a unit that costs 2,400, yeah, I want it to be good. It better be good. It costs more than almost any other unit out there. So what do you think on that one? You don't have to take my word for it. Tell me what you think. Greenskins, Trolls got more armor and then 37 more hit points per entity. It was 10 more armor. That's a good change. It should make Trolls more useful because they're pretty easy to stop. Savage Orcs picked up an additional 10% physical resistance. I said that a little bit wrong in the video the other day, and people were having fun correcting me. So they now have 30% physical resistance. They must have had 20 already. So that's going to make Savage Orcs a little bit beefier, and that is applied to all Savage Orc units, infantry and cavalry. They all picked up some charge bonus, melee defense, and extra physical resistance. The numbers vary a little bit, except for the errors. They only picked up 10 more physical resistance. So, yeah, nothing else big for the Greenskins. In terms of the Empire, they made Karl Franz more expensive. Was there like a group of people who were saying, please nerf Karl? Really? Why would you have made Karl Franz more expensive? He's already like one of the least used lords. This doesn't make any sense. And who was saying to make Karl Franz more expensive? No one wanted to say that. Right now, everybody just uses Boris because Boris is better. So I don't get it. Like, they say Karl Franz on Deathclaw is more expensive. So there you go. But like I said, I mean, okay, great. He's more expensive when he's on Deathclaw, but why? Like, you look... Is the damage on Deathclaw any bigger? No. It's the exact same as Boris, riding on the cheaper one over here. That doesn't make any sense. Then I can get the General of the Empire and stick him, and it's the same thing. What benefit does Deathclaw bring me that makes Deathclaw cost more? I just, that's a stupid change, and it didn't need to be made. Feel free to disagree with me, but that's my opinion. There was no reason to make Karl Franz more expensive when Karl already suffers at not having any healing, unless it comes from a Jade Wizard, which is helpful, but it just means that Karl is gimped compared to some of the other lords. Boris is just a better pick, because Boris gets basically all the same stats for less cost. Doesn't make sense. Karl Franz in general was made more expensive by 99. Amber Wizards on a Warhorse got some extra charge bonus. Same thing with the Barded Warhorse. I don't know who was pleading for the Amber Wizard to have a more powerful horse. Amber Wizard on a Griffin lost 30 charge bonus. I guess I don't see a lot of people spamming Amber Wizards anymore like they used to, but maybe that was a late reaction to some of that. Knights of the Blazing Sun got a cost increase. These guys were already not used a whole lot anyway because they don't have a bonus versus large, so I'm not sure a cost increase was really necessary, and then they put a cost decrease on the Reichsguard. I know people wanted separation between these two units, but I mean, personally, I think 1,300 is too expensive for Knights of the Blazing Sun because they're going to get cremated by most other heavy cavalry out there, I believe. I'd have to go test it, but without an anti-large, it's questionable. I need to go test it, so I won't call it out for certain, but again, I don't mind them changing the cost of Knights of the Blazing Sun and Reichsguard to present some difference, because otherwise it's like, why would I take Reichsguard whenever Knights of the Blazing Sun were the same cost? But at the same time, I don't really know that I agree with this either. And then Zentler's Reichsguard got slightly cheaper. Again, alright, sure. Organ Gun for the Dwarves got extra missile damage, AP, and standard missile damage. The Flame Cannon got nerfed. Really? The Flame Cannon? Because it was oh so powerful? I can't remember all those multiplayer matches where Flame Cannons wrecked me over and over. Oh wait, it's because it doesn't happen. Why did you nerf the Flame Cannon? And, I mean, don't say it's for campaign, because why would you want to nerf the Flame Cannon in campaign when you're enjoying Flame Cannoning the crap out of your enemies? There was no reason to nerf the Flame Cannon. That was just dumb. Alright, so Gyro Bomber. It got a little bit more projectile spread. Don't know what that means. And then 3-second reload time reduction. Iron Drakes picked up hit points, maybe making them a little bit more survivable. Goblobber picked up some cost. That's probably good. The Goblobber was extremely effective at its current cost. For Chaos, you got Marauder Horseman. Let's switch over to Chaos. Take care of this real quick. Chosen with Halberds, picked up 5 weapon damage and 1 AP. I don't think there's any reason not to buff the Chosen with Halberds. They're crazy expensive and it's not going to hurt anything. Archaon on his Chaos Hellsteed Dorgar picked up 86 hit points. Archaon picked up 20 armor. That's a big deal. That could really help Archaon in the end. Let's check out his armor rating now. He's at 120. I think that's fair, because Archaon's very expensive and he's pretty underused. So Chaos Trolls got the same 37 hit point buff. And then the Armored Trolls picked up 37 hit points plus 10 armor, similar to the Greenskin Trolls. The Beast Lord on a Chariot got reduced in cost. Sure. It got extra charge bonus and then +1 collision attacks. -2 second or 0.2 second melee attack interval and then more hit points. So I guess they're trying to encourage people to use a different Beast Lord other than Morgur. But yeah, so whatever. They increased his entity size too. Khazrak got Vanguard deployment, so again, I think they're trying to make it to where the Beastmen have more ways to play than just picking Morgur every time. So yeah, Khazrak is going to be Vanguard deployable now, so you can do sneaky Beastmen armies with him. Khazrak on a Chariot also got attack difference. I wonder if Khazrak can Vanguard deploy on a Chariot. Nope. That's interesting. Seems like kind of a miss. Bray Shaman picked up some weapon strength and 35 armor piercing weapon strength as well. And then they dropped in multiplayer cost, which that's going to be interesting. So Bray Shamans will be a little bit better in melee now. Malagor picked up 40 weapon strength in general. And then 35 armor piercing weapon damage, and then 10 charge bonus as well. So again, trying to make Malagor a little bit more useful. Don't know if it's going to succeed. Bestigor picked up speed, 6 speed, charge bonus, weapon damage, and charge speed. So that could make Bestigor quite a bit better. It'll be interesting to try that out. Cygor picked up a lot of hit points at 750. Ungor Spear picked up some leadership, but lost some charge bonus. And then all Ungor units picked up 30 mass. Again, not really sure what that means yet. Maybe they're harder to pull through or charge over, which kind of makes sense in some ways because the Beast Infantry are kind of big. All Centaurs can now hide in the woods. That's probably appropriate. For Vampires, let's switch over to Vampires. The Vampire counts picked up charge bonus on the Hex Wraiths. Helman Gorst is now cheaper in multiplayer by 200, which is quite a lot. He's probably still going to die a lot, so I don't know if that makes him that much more appealing. Stearnsman picked up 100 cost. That's probably appropriate. They were pretty fantastic for what they were. Manfred von Karstein on a Zombie Dragon picks up some cost. Again, why? When everybody was already picking the Red Duke in front of Manfred, considering that they're similar to the same thing, except the Red Duke's better in some ways. I mean, like, look, he's got more melee attack, and yeah, it's just weird. He's got a shield, and he has more melee attack. Whatever. Whatever. But I guess maybe if you get rid of some of Manfred's spells, it makes him roughly the same cost. I'd have to look at it. The Claw Nagash lost 788 hit points. That's probably good. Make it a little bit more difficult to protect. Won't be as much of a nightmare for certain factions. Vargulfs picked up leadership. Rip Dwarves. So that's just going to make that Vargulf army that much better versus the Dwarves. The Black Coach picked up 20 weapon strength, 20 armor piercing. Will it make a difference? I mean, the Black Coach has long been really crappy, and I'm not sure that that's going to change with such a simple Here, let's play around with the black coach for a minute. I'm gonna get some. Everything the elves have is anti-large for the most part. Let's get some expensive infantry. Let's black coach it here. What map are we on? Where's my map that I like to test on? I think it's this one. Yep. That would be it. Let's test this real quick. For the Wood Elves, the Eternal Guard picked up 25 cost and another 50 cost for Eternal Guards with shields. The Wood Elves were already not like necessarily a power faction. If anything, their Heirs of Kurnos was just a little bit annoying. I'm not sure why Eternal Guard got a change. I think that that's another one of these changes that's both questionable and pointless. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic about some of this stuff. Wildwood Rangers lost 5 AP damage. Again, why? Were people screaming nerf Wildwood Rangers? I never really ran into a problem with Wildwood Rangers. I have no idea why some of these changes get made. Like, who suggested and why? Glade Guard lost 10 range. That's probably okay, I guess. I mean, the Elf Archers are still going to be really good. Deepwood Scouts and Deepwood Scouts with the Swift Shiver Shards picked up 15 entities. That's good. So there's going to be more of them firing, so they'll be much more deadly now. They got 2 extra ammo, and they got 10 more range. They did lose a little bit of missile damage and AP damage to accommodate for the more people, I'm sure. Way Watchers picked up 2 ammo. They got better marksmanship and some speed. So that's kind of probably a good change. There's some ability changes, too, that it goes through. It says armor effect values for spells and abilities changed. Anything that was 15 is now, or 15 or 30 got changed to 30 and 60, respectively. So armor debuffs and buffs are going to be more effective. That probably helps the lore of metal a little bit. But again, still no specific boost here to Balthasar Gelt, yet we're out there changing Karl Franz. We're nerfing Karl Franz, even though he doesn't get used, but we don't touch Balthasar Gelt. Makes a lot of sense. Sorry, I'm being a little bit sarcastic here, but I'm happy with CA. They've done so much good work with Bretonnia, and I'm not trying to discredit that, but there's just some of these changes that don't make sense, and it's like they continue to ignore certain units that... Did they take away the abilities on the Black Coach? The Black Coach no longer has its... Oh, maybe I just didn't add them to it or something. I don't know. I don't see any of the abilities on the Black Coach anymore. That's really odd. Yeah, so it totally makes sense. Black Coach is fixed. See? It's so useful now. It got 2 kills charging head-on into infantry and then lost a considerable portion of its... And it's so slow here, too, that the Wood Elves are like almost kind of keeping up with it here. Let's see what it can do. Full-on charge against a non-braced Wood Elf unit. Let's see. Yeah, it just can't mass it. Look at how quick. Yeah. Alright, I get it. Wildwood Rangers are AP. They're anti-large. Maybe that's a bad test, but I don't know. Black Coach to me is still the Black Coach. And if they took away the abilities that it had, then that's even more dumbfounding, to be honest. Alright, so Black Coach is still Black Coach. Nothing's changed. Let's see. Spell power cost tweaked to better match strength. Again, what does that mean? CA, a little more detail on some of these would be great, rather than just putting these vague statements out there and then leaving it up to us to figure out. 45 meter radius reduced to 40 on spells, 60 to 55. Again, does 5 meters make that big a difference? It's an odd change. Slightly increased likelihood of magic missiles hitting their target. That's probably a good thing. Reduced movement speed for upgraded vortex spells with extended duration by 25%. So vortex spells, let's have some fun with that. So let's pull up Lay Empire. Actually, let's get our K on, because he can use like the flaming head or something. Let's put all our K on stuff on here just to have some fun. And we'll put the fireball on there too. Okay, let's go have some fun with Archaon. I'm going to throw a unit of infantry out here to support him. Let's see. Doomflock was made less effective. Doomflock was definitely one of the more powerful spells out there. Rather than making it less effective, I would have appreciated them making other spells more effective, rather than making one of the spells that kind of felt like it had a purpose seem less purposeful. It's going to depend on how bad they nerfed it. We'll go test that in a minute too. Multiplayer abilities and character upgrades. It says fixed Empire Captain on a Barded Warhorse from getting free abilities. Okay. Frenzy, Primal Fury, Lady's Blessing, Regeneration, Vigor Mortis, Unholy Lodestone, Balefire, Blood Roar, Swarm of Flies, turned into always selected innate abilities. So basically these are ones that you don't have to go in and specifically select. They'll just be there. And that's about all the changes really that they list, other than stating that they put some of the maps into the pool. Let's see how more predictable these... let us see. Holy crap, it takes so much magic just to cast this thing. Increased effect area. Let's see what happens. So is this thing going to be more effective? It's definitely not deviating from its path as much as it had in some cases in the past. And it's moving a little bit slower. You can see its path is kind of slow and steady there. I mean, is it going to make it that much more effective? I don't know. It's still 20 magic, and you look at what that thing did. It sat right on top of this unit for a pretty good amount of time and did fairly minimal damage. I forgot to put Archaon up on his horse. It's probably a good thing, though, because then the Wild Rangers get a bonus. Now, I mean, look at this spell. It stays on the ground forever. That's kind of cool, but, I mean, when is someone going to have their army in, like, a column formation where something like that would actually be useful? 20 magic for that spell, and its usefulness is definitely questionable at best. So, I don't know. I still think Vortex spells, for the most part, are broken, with the exception of Pit of Shades and Winds of Death, where both of those have a pretty clear purpose. Let's just test Doomflock real quick and see how much it pulls off, and then I'll be done with this video so I can get on to some others, because I'm already kind of behind the ball here. Let's get the Beastmen, and or actually we'll just get the Empire. And let's get Amber Wizard. Put him up on a horse so I can get around. Actually, let's put him up on a thing here. Alright, let's start the battle here and test out Doomflock. I don't know what the values used to be, but I want to say it used to take off like about 800 hit points or something like that, fairly consistently, depending on the number of entities in a unit. But we'll see if it's anything similar. Alright, beginning health is 5325. There's a overcast Doomflock. And it took it down to 4539 and then 4527, so it's pretty similar results. So 53 to 45. It doesn't look like it was nerfed too much. That's still fairly useful, because that's a pretty considerable amount of health that's pulled off, and the cooldown is still about the same, which is not a very significant cooldown. You can still use a Scroll of Power to use this twice, so I think that Doomflock is still very viable. Its radius of effect here is still pretty useful, and you can see here in a couple of casts, I mean, I've done significant damage to 2 expensive units, so I would definitely say that Doomflock is still a viable spell. And you can use it to force enemies to move rather than to sit back and get torched like this. Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know, what is that, 30%? 35% of these units' health in a couple of casts? I mean, I don't think that that's useless at all. So, anyway, what do you all think of the patch notes? Anything that I missed that you want to throw in too, feel free to do so. Hopefully I got you some good information here to think about as we head into the next update. I mean, I always appreciate Creative Assembly patching the game and trying to make changes, and I think some of the changes they made are certainly positive. But other ones, it just seems like there's problems in the game that are more glaring than others, and we just get these weird patch notes like, hey, we're going to nerf Karl Franz. What? And it said multiplayer cost too, right? It had nothing to do with campaign. What? When was the last time you were playing multiplayer and you're like, dude, Karl Franz is OP. All the people at the top of the leaderboard just spamming Karl Franz builds. What? Since when? So, I don't know. Stuff like that drives me crazy. What was the point? What was the point in that? Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out. Hope to hear your thoughts. See you soon.